Hey guys, welcome back. I know you've seen a billion tutorials by now using the Jaclyn Hill palette, but I haven't done one. And you guys have been asking me to do one, so I wanted to. And everybody that has asked me to do a tutorial with this palette has asked me to not do a warm eye look because there are so many tutorials out there using like the reds and the purpley colors. And so everybody wanted me to do more of either a cool tone look, a green look, or just something that's not what you would standardly see if you looked this palette up on YouTube. A lot of you guys wanted me to do a look using this dark green eye look because I did one last week and I posted on Snapchat, got a ton of tutorial requests using that color, but to be quite honest, I did a look very similar to that using the Lorac Mega Pro 2 palette 2 years ago. So I will link that down below. The palettes are actually very similar as far as colors go. There are a lot of colors in this one that are in the Mega Pro 2 palette from Lorac. So if you didn't get your hands on this one yet, or you just don't want to spend the money and you have the other one, then just use the other one because a lot of the colors are exactly the same. So the fact that I've already done a dark green look and the fact that Jaclyn also has posted one recently using that dark green, I didn't want to be accused of copying. It's happened. It hasn't happened since I've had blonde hair. People don't see me as her anymore, so I don't get accused of copying. But just because she's done one so recently, I just didn't want to take that risk. So I've decided to do this really bright teal look using the two teals that are in the palette. One is matte, one is shimmery, and I was really excited doing this look because I haven't done anything really fun for a long time. I've just been wearing like neutral eye looks to work every single day, hardly any eye makeup on the weekends, and so I haven't done anything wild and crazy recently. So I'm really excited about this look. Hopefully you're excited too, so if you want to see how I got this look, then just keep on watching. Trying out this new Sigma brush for the first time. This is the 4D HD Kabuki, and it's a pyramid shape, which is pretty cool. And I'm popping on some Tarte Shape Tape, and I was not prepared for what this brush was gonna do with this concealer. It basically did not absorb any product whatsoever, it just spread it around, and so I had too much concealer on. So I learned my lesson, do not apply as much concealer when you're using this brush. But the cool thing about it is you can flip the brush around onto one of the other sides and use that to set your concealer with an under eye powder. So I do end up liking this brush a lot. I've used it a handful of times since filming this video, and it's definitely a good brush. The bristles are really soft too, so it's perfect for under the eyes. And this contour kit is actually from Palladio. It is a drugstore kit, and it's highly, highly pigmented. I've been using it every single day to contour my nose and set my under eyes ever since I received it. And I'm using a Dose of Colors contour brush to contour my nose. So just doing a little bit of bronzing, and I think I just used the contour kit for this. Yes, I did. I just used that same contour kit with a tiny bit of product on this Royal Langnickel brush. And because my eye look is gonna be pretty intense today, I didn't wanna go super duper ham with the contour. Then I took this Becca Duo, this is with Champagne Pop and Flower Child brush, and just using this Zoeva blush brush to pop a little bit on the high points of my cheekbone, and then using this fan brush from Morphe to put some Champagne Pop on all the high points of my face. I have been loving this Cover FX mattifying setting spray. I spray it all over my face once I'm done with my foundation and powders and all of that, and then just use the Beauty Blender to just mix everything together once it has that setting spray on there. And you guys have seen me do my eyebrows upwards of 100 times in different videos, and so I'm not going to bore you with an eyebrow tutorial, but I'm using the Anastasia Brow Definer, and then priming my eyes, as always, with the MAC Painterly Paint Pot with some Morphe brush, I don't know. And then this is actually a Kylie Cosmetics brush. I've talked about these in the past, I really love them. But I'm using this transition shade from the palette to prep my eyelids for the bright green colors to make sure everything blends nicely on top of it. Then I'm going to take this bright green shade called Jada from the palette, and this is on a Morphe blending brush, and I'm going to start popping that in the outer corner and also thinly throughout the crease. And so I basically started blending in the outer corner and kind of work it inward, and you can see all of my movements are very, very small. Generally with like neon colors like this, they do not like to blend. It has nothing to do with the quality of the product. They just don't like to blend. Colors like this, you have to just add a teeny tiny bit at a time, blend it out as much as you can before adding any more color. So what you'll see me doing here is basically just going in with a little bit at a time. And if you recreate this tutorial, you'll notice in the beginning, the green is kind of messy, and that's totally okay. So then we're taking the shimmery green in the palette and we're gonna pop it on the lid. And this is also a Kylie Cosmetics brush, and it's nice and flat, so it's perfect for packing on shimmery shades on the lid. And you can see that I'm using it to like carve out that inner half of the lid over and over on both eyes and get really, really tight into that inner corner. And then going back in with no additional color on my blending brush, and I'm just gonna kind of smooth out those lines where the two colors meet. And then just doing the same thing on the lower lash line, applying the color and then blending out with a larger brush. You'll have a lot of success when it comes to bright or dark colors, applying the color with a smaller brush and then blending it out with a larger brush. And that is basically the key to doing a bright or a dark look. Like, you don't wanna look psychotic when you do a look like this. And so the way to avoid looking like you escaped a mental institution is by making sure you blend everything really, really, really seamlessly. And then I took some of that shimmery green and tried to pop it on the middle of my lower lash line, but I realized you couldn't really see it, especially since I was gonna have mascara on, so I was like, oh, whatever, scratch that. And so I just blended it in with the existing green that was down there. Then this is just a clean MAC 221 brush. This is like one of my all-time favorite brushes. It's so extremely soft, and it's just like a smaller blending brush. And I'm just using that to clean up the edges. If you want, you can take a skin tone shade, a skin tone shadow on your brush and use that to clean up the edges as well. That kind of helps erase some of the mistakes if it's not perfectly even. And then a good thing to do throughout doing this type of look is just step back, look in the mirror, look from like different distances and make sure that everything is even, because you wouldn't want more shadow on one eye than the other. And by looking at yourself from different distances, you'll be able to avoid that. And all the blending kind of makes the shimmery shadow fade just a little bit, so you can always go back in and add a little bit more. Then we're gonna take the blue in the palette, and this is the only blue, and I just felt like there wasn't enough dimension with the two green colors. And so I'm taking this pencil brush from Kylie Cosmetics and just starting to pack that in the outer V. And you can see from the eye on the left, I just kind of did, it's not even really a V shape, it's just like the lower half of the V. And I just go slowly pack that on over and over and over, a little bit at a time in that outer corner. And then doing the same thing, of course, on the lower lash line. Generally, for the most part, if I'm gonna do something on my upper lid, I'm gonna do it down below as well. You don't have to do the same thing, but when I'm doing bright looks like this, just to make everything kind of cohesive, it's nice to do it on the lower lash line as well. And then taking that same blending brush that I originally applied the green with, I'm going to start blending the blue in with the green. That way it's seamless and you can't tell where one stops and the next one starts. Next, I'm taking my NYC liquid liner, and this was actually the last go around for this particular tube of eyeliner. I've had this one for like 4 years. Now I'm just using this to apply a simple wing, nothing outstanding or dramatic. There are a bajillion wing liner tutorials on YouTube. Mine isn't the best, and so they are out there if you really want help with that. And then for mascara, I'm applying this one from Palladio. It's the Double Agent. It's basically two ends. One has a little skinny brush to get all of the lashes, like every single eyelash. I really like the brush on this. And then the other end of the mascara is a little bit thicker of a brush, and it has a slightly different formula to like really plump the lashes up once you have this initial coat on. So I've really been liking this, and it's a drugstore mascara, so you can't beat it with a stick. Next, I'm taking these Meigas Lashes. This is in the style Wyatt, and these are $6 mink lashes. This is not a drill, $6. And I have a coupon code, y'all, okay? So If you use Nicole17, you will get 17% off your entire order on their website. They're extremely high quality. I've worn this pair probably 10 to 12 times and they've held up really, really well. I've had really high-end lash brands that have fallen apart more quickly than these. Like a lot of high-end lash brands like to unravel, and these have not unraveled. And then because I'm lazy, I'm just covering up the old lash glue with my eyeliner. And then the final touch is lips, of course. I'm using MAC Subculture lip liner and Fashion Whim lip gloss. Anytime I wear this gloss, people ask me what it is, so that's what it is. And that was the final step. That is it for this look, you guys. I hope you enjoyed, and if you want to see anything else in the future, just let me know down in the comments below. Generally now, just because I post so few videos, I usually just post what you guys ask me to do. Don't forget to subscribe before you go, and also click the like button if you like this video, because that helps me a lot. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. See you next time.